What's going on, my fellow Outriders? Your dude Sly here, and welcome back to my fourth and final gameplay video talking about and showing off the new game coming out on April 1st, Outriders. As you know, the Outriders demo dropped not all that long ago, and with it, you can hop on and try out any of the 4 available classes. You have the Technomancer, the Pyromancer, Trickster, or Devastator classes. Basically, the Gadget Shaman, Fire Conjurer, Hunter or Vanguard type of class, and then the Elemental Tank class. Now, in my last 3 videos, we went over the Techno and Pyromancer as well as the Trickster, but today we're diving into my last gameplay video outlining the Devastator class. So far, the Technomancer and Trickster classes have been my favorite to play. The Pyromancer and Devastator have a little bit more, I guess you could say, a skill gap in terms of skill usage and healing. The Devastator, in my opinion, is definitely the hardest class to use if you're going in solo. So first, let's outline all the skills the demo allows you to use, then we'll talk about healing, my opinions about the game, and then we'll dive into some unedited gameplay. This way you'll see the class in action and judge for yourself. As always, feel free to try the demo out for yourself as it is free, and of course the game goes live on April 1st. While it has its issues, the story definitely has me hooked, so I'm looking forward to any kind of patch notes or early previews of the Day 1 patch to see what will be upgraded or changed. In any case, let's get this bad boy started. So the Devastator class is called the quote-unquote tank class of Outriders. In its current state, I wouldn't go so far as calling it a tank, but I'm willing to bet in later skills and later on in the game, the Devastator, like the Pyromancer, will be a crucial teammate to have for the endgame. So first, let's talk about healing. Like the Trickster, the Devastator only heals from close range kills, and just like the Trickster, it's more of like a close to medium range. It may be just a hair closer than the Trickster, but still a decent way off. As you can see here in the video, the skull with the green plus sign on the bottom of that name indicates that when you kill this enemy, you will regain health. If that sign disappears, then that means the enemy is out of your healing range and you'll gain nothing except for XP, of course. Now, the Pyromancer has to tag an enemy with one of its skills in order to heal, but thankfully, the Devastator just needs an enemy in range. Alright y'all, so next let's outline the Devastator's skills. Now in the demo you're able to unlock 4 skills total, with 3 of them coming fairly easy at the beginning, but one of them really isn't all that great, so in this video we're going to go over all 4. So skill number 1 you get pretty much right off the bat once you wake up. It's called Earthquake, and it does pretty much what it sounds like. You punch the ground, and similar to the Heat Wave skill of the Pyromancer, you send out a wave in front of you, damaging enemies. It can travel underneath barriers and through walls. It does a ton of damage, and it's also one of the Devastator's interrupt skills. It's more forgiving than the Heat Wave of the Pyromancer, as it seems to track individual targets in front of you, so there's little chance that you're going to completely miss your mark. The best part is that you can use this skill behind cover, which makes it very, very useful. Since it auto-targets, using it to interrupt bosses in the process of casting makes Earthquake one of your go-to skills. Okay, so next up, skill numero dos, we have Golem. You summon the rocks around you to encase yourself in a suit of armor that blocks 65% of all incoming damage. Now, at the beginning, it only lasts for 8 seconds. However, I think through the skill and upgrade path, you're going to be able to push that out further. It's also one of the longer cooldowns in the game, so I'm really not that big of a fan, at least early on in the game. However, blocking over half of incoming damage is pretty helpful, so use it whenever you can. Moving on to the third skill, Gravity Leap, another of the Devastator's interrupt skills. This skill allows you to target an enemy, and then you kind of turn yourself into this floating pile of rocks, and then you launch yourself at the enemy. The enemy itself that you select usually gets torn to shreds, then the AoE effect damages and slightly stuns nearby adds. Now, even though this class is called a tank, this skill can get you into trouble. The Trickster has a similar teleport skill, and it gives you a shield for doing it, but here you're left out in the cold. If your plans don't work out, you could be sailing into a group of death, so be wary when using this and be sure to select the right targets. If you find yourself in trouble, use Golem and then quickly get to safety. Now, in the previous videos, I mostly talked about the first 3 skills while only really mentioning the 4th, pretty much to save time and because the others were pretty much the skills you're going to be using because they were good. But for the Devastator, in my opinion, Golem sucks, and the 4th skill of the Devastator is so much better. So let's go over that as well. Simply called Reflect Bullets. This skill is awesome. You summon a barrier that soaks up all damage coming your way, either on your command or after 10 seconds, you then release all that damage back at your enemies in one wave. If you have any melee adds rushing your way, it will immediately release their energy back at them, or at least part of it. So if you have rushing adds, you don't have to drop your barrier and able to take care of them. It pretty much takes care of itself. Golem can be used to get you out in a pinch, but this skill is good everywhere. It's powerful and a lot of fun to use. Now, I haven't seen how it handles mines or enemy AoE effects, but for projection damage, it's absolutely great. And if you're soaking up 10 seconds worth of incoming damage, that usually adds up to a lot of damage, and then releasing that pretty much mows everything back down in its path. I would swap Golem out for this in a heartbeat if you rank up a little past level 6. So if you have the opportunity, definitely use this. Okay, so now y'all, let's take a look at the Devastator in action. Again, the class really wasn't my favorite to use, and I kind of think it kind of shows in the gameplay, so I apologize if it's not as good as some of the other gameplay vids. However, it's fun nonetheless. And here's a look at the Devastator in action. So enjoy, y'all, and I'll get back to you all at the end of the video.
I'm getting major deja vu in this place. Reminds me of that mission in Damascus when we rescued those diplomats.
I had to save your ass from that machete-wielding mob.
More like the time I had to save your sorry ass from that redneck mob storming DC.
Those missions felt like we were fighting for a reason. But this shithole, it's never been worth fighting for.
So what's it all about for you then?
Just trying to live another day. Boss, We're barely holding on.
It sounds like I chose a good day to wake up then. Yakum, I'm seeing a lot of dead people. They look like they've been sauteed.
Shit. Be careful.
Yakum, I've reached the solar tower. I'm going in.
What are you seeing in there?
Some kind of weird electrical sparks flying everywhere.
Means you're getting close. This altar, did I not mention? He's a goddamn electro freak.
You mean he lights up light bulbs?
More like flash frying everything for a mile. Look, I know you've always been able to handle yourself, but this son of a bitch is on a whole other level.
As of recently, so am I.
Outrider, you've had your first kill. We Alter do not die so easily, do we?
Seth.
Come. We must speak.
Whoa. That looked good.
They asked you to help them. To fight the altar down there. Why didn't you?
That pathetic monstrosity was a distraction.
People are dying because of him. Without the supply route open...
They all die. These feeble creatures. Slaughtering each other over scraps. You waste your gifts. Running errands for them. Trying to win their meaningless, endless war. You must realize, you are not like them anymore.
So what? I should play at being a god like you.
I am not playing. But you are something even more. Altered and Outrider. The last Outrider. Do what you were sent here for. Go! Beyond the frontier. These people need their gods. Only one like you could lead them to a future.
Why not you?
They call him Moloch. I fight another war, far above this petty squalor. My war is with the worst of our kind. This one is too powerful. He will destroy us all, unless I hunt him down. But this is not your fight. You are to be the shepherd. Find a way for them out of this slaughter, Outrider.
Sure, it's done. Your supply line's open, I'm heading home.
I can't believe it. Outrider, what you just did. I've lost 100 men trying.
Don't thank me yet. You still got a war to win.
Not sure anyone's winning this goddamn war. But there's something even more important you might be able to do. Come see me in my bunker.
Okay, so that about does it. This wraps up my final class intro and gameplay videos showing off all of the classes within Outriders. April 1st is when the game launches, and like I mentioned, it's not really that well polished in its current state. Even with my 2080 and Ryzen 7 at 1080p, the game does not really run all that great. The hair textures or one of the filters like ambient occlusion needs some work because it doesn't really look all that great either. The game has a real strong Gears of War vibe along with kind of a hint of Anthem and Mass Effect. Pretty much mash all of those games together and you have Outriders. While I'm not sure if it's a game I'll be playing for the next 6 years like Destiny, the story definitely has me hooked, and that's pretty much enough for me. Hopefully these past few videos have piqued your interest, or at the very least gave you enough information on which class to choose when you start your own journey within Outriders. So as always, thank you all so much for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. Keep those eyes open for more Outrider videos as we creep closer to release, and especially once we hit the launch window of April 1st. Take care, y'all, and keep those eyes open for more vids coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.